still searching for missing people. More than a dozen totaled cars have been found stuck and overturned in a creek. This is AP News.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Signing up for $1 bus and train rides with the Transit Assistance Program, or TAP, is quick and easy. Do it straight from your computer or phone by uploading one of the pre-approved documents listed at metrotransit.org/TAP, along with a copy of your ID. We'll mail you a to-go card with a full year of discounted rides. For questions or translation help, call 612-373-3333. 612-373-3333.
Your heart beats for generations. Take care of it.
There's a lot that we can do to take care of ourselves. And so I think it's important to take the smaller steps and break it down into more manageable pieces, because the little steps leads to big changes.
Every beat of your heart tells a story of love, resilience, and hope. For Indigenous women, taking care of your heart means creating more moments with the ones you cherish. Let's protect that story. Learn more at hennepin.us/heart-beats.
Do you have a personal financial goal like buying a car, starting a business, saving for college, or investing for retirement? Whatever your goal is, you need a plan. It might seem overwhelming, but like physical fitness, you can gradually improve your financial health step by step. Start by creating a spending plan, improving your credit score, opening a bank account, or finding a trusted advisor. Not sure where to start? Visit mn.gov/commerce/money for more.
Support for Native Roots Radio comes from the Walker Art Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including Indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of Birds, Cheyenne and Arapaho Nation, and Jin Demini, Ojibwe. Additionally, films screen in the cinema, and performances are shown on stage. Free every Thursday night and free every day for members and citizens of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org. Again, that's walkerart.org.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for rain throughout tonight with a low around 55, Saturday cloudy with a high near 75, and Sunday rain with a high near 80. Discover Market Fresh, your local Asian food store located just south of Rosedale on County Road 36, and Shanghai Wholesale Market, your international food warehouse in St. Paul's Midway at 640 Pryor Avenue North. This Father's Day weekend only, get 10% off meats and seafood at Market Fresh and Shanghai Wholesale Market.
They are going to become more brutal.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. And hey, we discuss local, national, Native news events. And as you know, Wendy, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Development Institute, or use the acronym NACD. They're on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis.
They do such a great job, Wendy, and
Mhm.
we're very happy to partner with them over the years, and
Absolutely.
have Robert Lilligren on Thursdays, and with the great insight of what's happening local and nationally. So we're truly blessed
Mhm.
for that. Hey, we got today's Friday. It's icky out, and it's cold here in Minnesota.
I know.
It's like,
It
what
is
the
cold.
heck?
I know.
What the heck's going on? Well, tomorrow we have the 50-51 protest at the Capitol, and there's some really cool stuff that's coming up, kind of telling us what a good way to protest is. And it's June 14th. The world is protesting no kings in the U.S. 50 states and Puerto Rico, Colombia, Germany, Italy, Portugal, United Kingdom, and Canada and France are all joining us in this No Kings ceremony. And we're really excited. And Wendy and I, we're going to be going there, but there's some things that we have to be aware of and talk about beforehand, Wen.
Yeah, there are. So there are know your protest rights,
Yeah.
right? So there's a whole list. There's 6 items. We should get through them pretty quick here because we don't have a lot of time. But number one,
ACLU's brought that out.
Yeah,
so
it's
that's the real
legit.
deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, you're right. So number one, you don't need a permit to protest in response to breaking news, and you don't need a permit to march in the streets or along sidewalks, as long as you're not obstructing traffic or access to buildings.
Yeah.
So that's simple. Do that, right? Number two, when you are lawfully present in a public space, you have the right to photograph anything in plain view, including federal buildings and the police.
I wanted to say that with you. And
Yes,
the police.
exactly.
Ice.
Yes. Number three, if you believe your rights have been violated, when you can, write down everything you remember, get contact information for witnesses, and take photographs of any injuries.
Yeah, definitely. With those rubber bullets, I saw in Los Angeles, a ICE agent just directly shooting a reporter from Australia in the leg, and you can see it on video. She wasn't doing anything. She was walking away after a report, and you just saw him kind of turn up there and shoot her right in the leg.
And I saw her leg she posted a picture of her leg. It's horrific. The bruise that she got from that bullet. Okay. Number four, if you get stopped by the police, ask if you're free to go. If they say yes, calmly walk away. Yeah.
And that's interesting. So they have to have due cause and all that. So that's a good one to remember.
Exactly. Number five, if you get arrested, you have a right to ask why. Otherwise, say you wish to remain silent and ask for a lawyer immediately. Don't sign anything or agree to anything without a lawyer present.
Absolutely. We should really bring that one up again. But yeah, that's because people get lulled into the Mr. Nice Guy, and next thing you know, you're in the back of a squad car, handcuffed, and you've said things that might incriminate you.
Exactly. Okay, the last one. If you get stopped by a member of the military or any law enforcement officer at a protest, you have the right to remain silent or to tell them that you'll only answer questions in the presence of an attorney, no matter your citizenship or immigration status.
And that's really important because, our relatives from the South that are part of this, been part of this continent for 10,000 years, have to know that they have a right. It's really sad, Wendy, too, because I think a lot of people are afraid because of what's happening. But you have to stand up for bullies, and
exactly.
You really have to, and they back down. And there's things going on nationally now that people are standing up and people are resisting.
Yeah. So also what's going to happen tomorrow is the military parade, right, in Washington, D.C.
Trump's birthday.
Yeah. I'm really hoping that it's really really, really bad weather for them. But anyway, I just read some numbers, which is really unbelievable that it's costing
94 million, right?
Okay, right. So but let's break it down, though. It's costing $45 million for the parade. Then after the parade and after everybody's gone, it's going to cost $16 million to repair the roads that are going to be damaged from these heavy, tanks that are going to be driving down the streets, the garbage, whatever they have to do. 16 million. And then 45 million and then I'm sure there's going to be more money for, just paying overtime for the police and, whatever, what have you. But there were also some stations that said they were not going to air
networks.
They were not going to air the president's parade, and they were going to put on sports. Play sports,
normal stuff they normally would.
Exactly.
And it's interesting because ABC has bowed down to the Trump administration so many times. Hey, from the Facebook page Eat the Rich, which I always like to check in on, it says, look at the resources they're willing to commit to terrorize people but not feed or house people.
That's right.
And that's
unhoused
it.
People, yeah.
That's it in a nutshell, isn't it?
It really is. And I wish I had time to watch it. I didn't, but there was I can't remember. I guess he's like maybe the chief of police down in Florida. And he was talking about how he's going to be like really strongly arresting people at protests. But we have to remember those 6 rules.
Right.
And that we have a right to protest. And that's what we're going to do. So the last protest I went to has been a while. The last one I went to was in 2016, when they were banning all the abortions, right? And
that was 2000. That was just recently, wasn't it?
Okay, tell me when.
Oh
no,
yeah.
It might have been. Anyway, I wrote I did a sign, right, that said "Never again" with a hanger with blood on it because they were banning abortions. I'm gonna wipe that out, and then I'm gonna paint a new protest sign.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about what I'm going to put on the
It'll
sign.
be good. I know. One thing I wanted to bring up too, Wendy, before our segment ends, is that if you're around bad actors and they're raising heck, like, during George Floyd, we had all these people from the bad boys come into the cities and burn our Minneapolis down, and you are to sit down. And immediately sit down. So if there's 100 people and there's 10 people raising heck, sit down, and the 10 people will be outed. And we might have to wear rubber pants tomorrow if we have to sit down quick because of the rain.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But that makes sense, pants, right?
But yeah. Yeah, exactly. When all hell is breaking loose, you sit down because you're not doing anything wrong. You're peacefully protesting. Just sit down, and the ones that are being crazy will show their faces.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you get that little video camera out there and show them. Hey, Wendy, we got State Senator Mary Kunesh up there, and we got a lot of things coming up, especially after to talk about after the session ended. And there's a lot of sadness, I know, from the BIPOC people with our relatives that are going to be taking off health care. So we have a lot to talk about with State Senator.
Sure.
Hey, this is Native Roots Radio. We'll be right back. This is the Friday edition.
Stay with us.
Oh.
Minnesota needs diverse teachers who represent our students and communities. Explore teaching degree options at Metro State University's Urban Education Info Session in person at the Minneapolis campus on June 24th. Metro State's programs offer pathways to bachelor's degrees designed for those committed to serving urban communities. Visit campus, get an overview of teaching programs, and meet with an advisor. Sign up at metrostate.edu/urban teacher program. Become a teacher, shape the future. Metro State University.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950. What does it mean to begin? Creation Story explores Native origin stories through powerful contemporary art, connecting past and present with every brushstroke in sculpture. Explore how identity, culture, and resilience are shaped through art. Creation Story, now at All My Relations Arts through July 26th. This exhibition invites you to the heart of the Ochate Shikowin storytelling, where spiritual relatives guide the way. Open to all. Learn more at allmyrelationsarts.org. Experience the beginning. Experience Creation Story at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis.
I'll never forget. I was driving my Sienna from Rudy Luther Toyota, and I was hit at 35 miles an hour, rear-ended square flush. If not for the structural integrity of my Sienna, I wouldn't be here right now. There's a lot I can say about Rudy Luther Toyota, about their fantastic service department and their great selection, but being able to say your car saved my life is the best endorsement I can make. Toyotas from Rudy Luther Toyota are my highest recommendation. Get one today and tell them me, Matt McNeil, told you to stop on in. Rudy Luther Toyota, 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
Hey, welcome back to Native Roots Radio, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we are always blessed to have State Senator Mary Kunesh on, and I know the session ended just recently, and I'd love to hear what your take is on it. Welcome, State Senator.
Well, Hamatakiape, everybody. It's good to be here with you, Robert. We did finally end our legislative session in a one-day marathon this past Monday that had us covering like 14 bills between the hours of, I think we started at 11 in the morning, and the Senate ended at about 1:30 Tuesday morning. And so there was a lot to get through. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I was so glad that we were finally able to end the session,
Right.
because it was there was a lot hanging out there, and we literally had to do that in order to keep our the doors open on the state government, and to prevent any kind of a shutdown. So it was again pretty amazing.
Yeah, it totally was. And I know there was a lot of naysayers out there in the press that didn't think this was going to happen. And I don't know about surprisingly, but it did happen. And that's kudos on you and the people you work with.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. We, in Minnesota, we weren't able to finish and come to agreements in a lot of the different committees in time, by the time that we should have recessed or adjourned. So we did end up just recessing, not adjourn, and then spent close to 2 weeks negotiating a lot of the bills that still hadn't been completed. And it was a lot of work. It was really exhausting work for many, and I have to call out our leadership in the House and the Senate, our DFL Democrat leadership. Aaron Murphy worked tirelessly, and it wasn't just negotiating with, like the GOP members, but because the House is a tied body, it's negotiating with Democrats and Republicans in the House, and then coming back and working with our Senate members. And, we don't all think alike. I know people think we often just vote party line without thinking about what we're doing, but that really isn't the case at all. We have folks that feel really strongly in different ways on different subjects. And so we find ourselves, working with each other in a lot of different ways. And so, we're trying to convince each other that our bill needs their vote. And because our Senate has just a one-person majority, unless we know that our Republicans are going to vote for our bill, or even if they say they will, we can't always count on that really happening. And so we have to make sure that we have all of us together. But we had to pass our HHS budget bill, Health and Human Services.
Yeah.
We had the Commerce bill to get passed. Our transportation bill was, there were some real sticking points in there. Senator Hoffman's Human Service budget bill had to get done. My K-12 education budget bill, yay, we got it passed.
Yep.
Again, I didn't get everything I wanted in there. I had to give up a lot. It was a really tough one, but I did get the funding for our 4 BIE schools. I did pass a more doable mascot bill in there.
Yeah.
We opened up, tribal schools can now apply for grants and other programs, abortive programs that they had, that every other school district would have been able to do. So now tribal schools can apply to those as well as any of our charter schools. So that was some really good stuff.
Yeah.
We had a huge discussion about data centers. There are a lot of them coming to Minnesota or are here already. And, they've come in very kind of quietly that most Minnesotans don't recognize that there are so many here. And the fact that some of the really large data centers are vying to come to Minnesota, which, on the one hand sounds really great because with that comes jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're the DFL, the Democrat Farmer Labor Party.
Right.
And so labor is, a really big part of our focus.
Mm-hmm.
And they promise to bring, provide thousands of jobs, which we want and we need.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, how much are we willing to sacrifice the environmental issues that come with that? Because data centers take a lot of energy.
Right.
And so if we're trying to reduce our footprint, our carbon footprint and come up with a green plan, I don't know that that's the best way to do it. Plus, they take a lot of water.
Yep.
I mean, really suck up a lot of water. If it's one thing we're proud of here in Minnesota, in the land of 10,000 plus lakes,
right,
is our water. I mean, that is one of our, the things that we're most prideful and we value. And I don't think, even though I know, or I've, researched the amount of water it takes.
Right.
We don't know the long-term effects.
Exactly.
And, very much so that communities might make agreements and then realize their aquifers are being depleted.
Exactly.
Or there's a low-level sound that's emitted from the building, and they, in some communities they put them near residential areas, and now the residents are like, wait a minute.
Exactly.
So there's a lot to consider, and so we've just begun working on regulating data centers and how we can best make sure that we're doing what we need to do to support labor and to provide these data centers, because as we all use AI,
Right.
Artificial intelligence more and more, not A1 as the director of education at the federal level was referring to it. But so that was a really big conversation, and that was a tough conversation. And at the end of the day, many, I think if not all of these data centers are receiving very juicy tax breaks.
Oh boy.
You know, they don't pay property tax or different taxes. And at a time when, you know, Minnesota and so many other states are feeling the crunch, when we give these big tax breaks to, you know, companies that can easily afford to pay these taxes, but they don't. I think Senator May Quaid pointed out that the amount of tax for one of these data centers would be enough to totally 100% support special education in Minnesota.
Oh my gosh. So that's kind of dark, because I know not only that Bitcoin has these data centers, and are we going to see any of that? And if we're not taxing them, what are we getting out of it other than maybe limited non-union jobs?
Right. Well, they promised lots of good labor jobs. There was, they did agree to prevailing wages, which means that when they are employing and hiring, that they use the going rate, the going wages that are established in our state, so they can't undercut. But there's much more work to be done around that, and that was a really tough vote for a lot of people. It was a tough one. And then we had our taxes. Oh, did you have one more thing to say about that?
Yeah, sorry. And I just, it's up and coming here. And I think the things that you brought up about the water, the energy, and how much it takes, that's pretty mind blowing too. And I know it's up and coming. And we had, Bob Blake on yesterday, and he was just saying how in 5 years, our energy rate's going to double because of these, places. And where are we going to get that? And if we're not getting any help with renewables, whether it's, solar panels or wind farms, we're in deep trouble here in Minnesota. Hey, State Senator, we have to take a quick break here, but I want to talk more about this, and I also want to talk about that really controversial bill that the health care for our undocumented relatives who don't mind. We're going to take a quick break.
Sure, let's do that.
Right on. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we'll be right back with State Senator Mary Kunesh.
Boldly Challenging Ableism is here to go where some people won't. I'm Katrina Simons, and every week I'm digging into the real impact of ableism, breaking down myths, calling out barriers, and pushing for a world where disabled people belong in every space. With my work at the University of Minnesota's Institute on Community Integration and a lifetime of lived experience, I'm diving into everything from employment and housing to justice and culture. And yeah, I bring some humor and heart along the way. Catch us Sundays at 2 p.m. right here on AM 950, or listen anytime by finding Boldly Challenging Ableism on YouTube or your favorite podcast app.
Think your company's safe? Your staff is working from home, right? As I speak, cyber criminals are mounting attacks across the country. Remember, when we're weakest, cyber criminals attack. Hi, Mark Sommerfeld from Rymark. The Rymark team is guiding our clients through these difficult times. In fact, demand has been so high, we created an easy-to-follow guide. It's yours free. Download our 5 steps to securely work from home now at rymarkit.com or call 651-328-8900 for a no-cost how-to discussion.
Hey, it's Jennifer from AM 950. I'm 57, and lately I've definitely been feeling it. Lower back pain, hip aches, brain fog, and serious lack of energy. That's when I decided to try Hypercharge Wellness, and I'm so glad I did. At Hypercharge Wellness, they focus on proactive wellness and medication-free solutions to help you feel better and live healthier. Their FDA-approved light therapy helped reduce my chronic pain and inflammation, and the results have been nothing short of life-changing. My back pain and stiffness are improving, and I'm finally starting to feel like myself again. They also offer laser therapy that targets muscles and joints, perfect for injury recovery and pain management. Whether you're dealing with fatigue, chronic pain, or mental fog, Hypercharge Wellness has treatments designed just for you to boost energy, improve clarity, and reduce inflammation. Take control of your health and wellness today with their $49.99 introductory session and consultation at any of their 3 locations. Visit hyperchargeclinic.com for more information.
Greg Bakken here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
Find a wide selection of outdoor hearth products at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Whether you prefer wood or gas, Woodland Stoves has the fire to fit your home. Pizza aficionados know nothing matches masonry oven baking for capturing flavor and nutrition. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces can easily install one in your home or business. Enthusiasts use these ovens year-round for bread making, wood roasting, even grilling.
The mission and passion of Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces is to make the fire work for you. The way humans relate to fire is primordial. We have used fire to warm our bodies, cook our meals, and kindle our spirits. Our team has the know-how to do this in a clean burning and environmentally smart way. Visit our store and experience the diversity. We have over 35 working units on display at the corner of Riverside and East Franklin. See us online at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that fits and works for you.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for rain throughout tonight with a low around 55, Saturday cloudy with a high near 75, and Sunday rain with a high near 80. The Great Wall Restaurant serves up bold, authentic Chinese flavors. From hot and sour soup to Peking duck, their Szechuan and Mandarin menu is packed with favorites. Visit them at 4515 France Avenue South or at greatwallrestaurant.us. That's greatwallrestaurant.us.
AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Hey, welcome back to Native Roots Radio, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we are always blessed to have State Senator Mary Kunesh on, and I know the session ended just recently, and I'd love to hear what your take is on it. Welcome, State Senator.
Well, Hamatakiape, everybody. It's good to be here with you.
Hey, welcome back to Native Roots Radio. I'm your host, Robert Pilot, and here we are with State Senator Mary Kunesh, who must be totally exhausted. And good on you and the people you work with, because I saw, the media here in the Twin Cities was saying there's no way that you guys are going to get this done, and you got it done. So big kudos to you and your workers, but you must be exhausted.
I am. I have to tell you, we had that special session on Monday. As I said, started at 11 in the morning, went till 1:30. But, it's not just that was a long day. The weeks following up to it were exhausting as well as we negotiated our bills. I had the education K-12 bill that, in spite of, not having everything I wanted, and I had to make concessions. The biggest one was around special education, but it takes a toll on a person. You don't know how you're just going until you're not, and then you just kind of like, whoa! It hits you like a ton of bricks, and I'm not a spring chicken, so it's taking me a few days here to catch up. Like Tuesday, I probably slept most of the day and it was totally low energy. And then yesterday, even I did get out and about and do a few things, but I was in bed as soon as I could. And today it's overcast here in Minnesota and rainy now, so it's just the sort of day, low energy, and kind of want to crawl back in bed again.
Yeah, we have that air quality too is not good today either, and so
No.
that's part of at least takes my superpowers down as a older person. Is like, why am I so tired and why am I coughing? It's like, oh, the air. Well,
Yeah.
I'd like to talk a little bit about this, and I know by looking at social media and the news that this was not only a hard session, but hard votes were happening, and the health care for our undocumented relatives. Talk us through that a little bit. I know, this was really, really difficult.
That was perhaps the hardest, most painful vote I have experienced in my 9 years as a state legislator. Even as we speak now, I get really emotional about this. The fact that that our Republicans, this was their number one goal for the session. So Minnesota had agreed 2 years ago to provide health care for undocumented relatives. And as we know, the vast majority of these undocumented persons are working in some of the most unglamorous jobs, in our packing houses, in our agriculture, roofing. Oftentimes they're in our nursing homes. They're in the back of kitchens and doing the work that nobody else will do. And when Americans say, oh, they're stealing all our jobs, none of them will take those jobs, which is why those people are here trying to build a good life for themselves, like all of our ancestors, our non-Indigenous ancestors did. Mm-hmm. And so what happened is that we had to roll back health care for undocumented adults. This, as I said, was a priority for our Republican counterparts, though there were a few of our Democratic members in the Senate that did vote for it. Mm-hmm. But the one concession is that the undocumented children will still be eligible for Minnesota care. Mm-hmm. So that was really important. And when this all came up, I'm talking about the Posse Caucus in Minnesota, people of color, Indigenous. Those are all of our legislators of color, of which I am one, tried to negotiate that the elders and those with life-threatening health issues like cancer or diabetes or some of those sort of things would continue. I mean, for humanitarian reasons, would be able to continue to do that. But the Republicans absolutely said no. And, they threatened they wouldn't sign anything. They wouldn't come to a special session with that threat of government shutdown. And it really forced us Democrats to do something that, we are morally against in so many ways. And it's crazy because the Republicans will say they're stealing millions of thousands of billions of dollars from our taxpayers, but it's really only $57 million in the next 2 years. Mm-hmm. And in the big picture, that's chump change. So it's $57 million over the next 2 years. And we're going to have to cut about $283 million in order to reduce the deficit. So that isn't going to make that much difference. And really, at the end of the day, the Republicans just wanted to make sure that about 17,000 people are without health care. And as Senator Elise Mann, so she's just so passionate. And when she speaks, she's a doctor herself, emergency room doctor. She's like, 17,000 people are being left out to die.
Right.
Because we worsen our healthcare system and we decrease our tax revenue. And these are people that at the end of the day, hopefully will go to the emergency room when they have healthcare needs.
Right.
But emergency care is not healthcare. And that just costs more and more and more. And so that was a really, really, really hard. And we didn't, the Posse Caucus didn't know that was going to be coming, in this session. And here it was. And we tried to, the Posse Caucus, we tried to cap undocumented enroll. We tried to raise premiums, allowing those children who are already enrolled to retain it instead of aging out, make exceptions for elderly people or those with chronic conditions. But at the end of the day, none of those things were accepted by it. And the amendment to, cut those people out went through, and it's a heartbreak. It's really, really a heartbreak. And, by calculations of some of those people, they're estimating that it's actually going to cost $3 billion over the next decade.
Well, that's what
so that's not saving us any money.
Right. And it's more of a racist move, and their constituents want this, and it's not saving money. And that's what the Republicans keep on saying. And I'm just going, well, aren't they paying into it? I mean, they're working and, yeah. So I saw some of the posts from the posse, and I really saw you in there, and I just really felt bad because this is going to bite us in the next couple of years. And that's just another thing that we're going to have to really rev up here, especially with what's going on federally with Trump and him wanting to take over state, National Guards and bring the Marines in, and you can't protest against him. This is a big setup now for 2026 and martial law and all those things. So we have to stay really vigilant and talk our truth like you are every week here on Native Roots Radio.
Thanks. Yeah, it was tough. I mean, we did pass some really good stuff. It kind of drowns out, with something like that. But, we were able to address affordable housing, some public safety. Of course, we balanced the budget for the next 2 years. Next year will be considered a policy year, but that doesn't mean there won't be a supplemental budget. There should be some money generated by taxes that we might be able to use. I think it's great for, as the economy starts to flounder more and more. I'm really concerned about housing and housing safety.
Right.
And especially for our elderly, like if they actually do anything around Medicaid and Social Security, those are the two largest items that most elderly people, number one, they depend on that Social Security, and they depend on that Medicaid for their health care.
Right.
If those things go away, whatever very fixed incomes these people are on are going to be gone. And I'm so worried that we'll find more and more elderly folks with unstable housing or no housing and no health care. And, that is going to be a huge burden, expense on our public dollars, and we should be taking care of them. I'm not complaining. I'm not saying I won't do that.
Right.
But the reality is really so. We did pass some emergency rental assistance and housing infrastructure bonds to build more affordable homes. We had that big Feeding Your Future kerfuffle a couple years ago with the COVID dollars. So we created an office of the Inspector General who will, have oversight of the public dollars and looking for those kind of scams and things like that. We did put more money into funding for roads and bridges, and of course, Minnesota is in our road construction season everywhere you go.
Jeez.
But we were able to get that. Of course, we got our 2-year budget for education done. One thing, we might notice that more and more like small local pharmacies are closing, especially in rural Minnesota, which is really sad. And so we were able to put some support for those small local pharmacies through medical assistance. We made some changes to the physician assistant licensure so that PAs that are trained in other states can move to Minnesota and start practicing. So there were some, there were good things, but
and the paraprofessional, that's awesome too. The unemployment for them.
We continue that.
That's awesome. Hey, State Senator Mary Kunesh, thank you so much for coming on. And thank you for doing all this work for the community and for everyone across Minnesota. I really appreciate you stopping in and letting everyone know what's going on.
You bet.
Hey, thank you. Hey, Native Roots Radio will be right back after this short break.
Your heart beats for generations.
Your heart is so many things. It beats all the time. And it works very hard to keep you moving through your day, keeping your thoughts clear. It's the most important organ in your body.
Every beat of your heart tells us. Taking care of your heart means creating more moments with the ones you cherish. Learn more at hennepin.us/heart-beats. That's hennepin.us/heart-beats.
Signing up for $1 bus and train rides with the Transit Assistance Program, or TAP, is quick and easy. Do it straight from your computer or phone by uploading one of the pre-approved documents listed at metrotransit.org/TAP, along with a copy of your ID. We'll mail you a to-go card with a full year of discounted rides. For questions or translation help, call 612-373-3333. 612-373-3333.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis Air. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis Air dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NAGD. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting nagd.org.
Hi, I'm Tiergan. And I'm Hadley. We're two of the very first listeners, and we're still listening to Native Roots Radio.
Hey, welcome back to Native Roots Radio. I had to play that, Wendy, for old time's sake.
I love that.
Our first listeners.
Definitely. We need to give a shout out to Tiergan and Hadley. Absolutely. And in this portion of the show, we'd like to bring awareness to our Minnesota wolf population. Let's say no to the hunts.
No. Hey, welcome, Wendy. I want to introduce my awesome and beautiful wife, Wendy. Wendy's been an animal advocate for many, many years, and she's co-founder of Native Roots Radio and Pilot's Progressive Party, and always great to have you on and talking about our sacred animals, our relatives.
Yeah, thanks, Robert. Hey, everybody. My name is Hanaji Hihani, and that means cares for them. I was given that name by my Dega Curtis. Curtis goes by Mashke Hanajinga, which means walks on white clouds. I'm a humane policy volunteer leader for Humane World for Animals, and they are formerly known as the Humane Society of the United States, now called Humane World for Animals. And I'm called a policy volunteer because that's what I do. I work on policies. And it's so funny, they did change their name, and I don't know their reasoning behind their name change, but I'm happy that they did change the name from the Humane Society of the United States to Humane World for Animals, just because, people would ask me, Wendy, so, what are you doing? What are you doing in your retirement? This and that. And I would say, I'm a volunteer for the Humane Society of the United States. And the first question I would get would be like, do you have any small dogs that are like 10 pounds? And, so like, because humane societies throughout the whole United States are called like, the Humane Society of Oakdale, Minnesota, or, so people would just assume that, I am a volunteer and I walk dogs and stuff, but no, we work on policy. We work on, passing bills and laws to help protect our animals, all animals in our state. So that's what I do. And I like to talk about animals. So, and Humane World for Animals is a great organization, and they have like a new video out. So if you want to go on and watch it, it's really fantastic. But a couple of things today. So just listen to this statistic, Robert.
Yeah.
One poisoned rodent can wipe out an entire nest of owlets.
Wow.
The cost of the convenience is an empty sky. Yeah, so if you're poisoning rodents and the mother owl comes and grabs the whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
a rat or a mole or whatever it is, and it's feeding it to its young, that poison can kill them immediately. So we don't want to do that.
No.
Yeah.
No,
I didn't know this, but service dogs, we were talking about service dogs
Mhm.
the last couple of days, but somebody posted, I honestly didn't know that when I was supposed to follow a service dog in a vest, if it approached me by itself.
Oh.
Yes. So if a service dog without a person approaches you, it means the person is down or needs help or something's going on. So you should follow that dog.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense, right when you brought that up.
It was funny. I was just talking about, remember I was talking about there was groundbreaking study from Sweden's university about how certain dogs have more receptors in their bodies for oxytocin. And I didn't really explain it very well because somebody asked me about it. So I just want to go back and talk about that for a minute. So oxytocin is a hormone that we have in our bodies too. So like it's called the love hormone. And
You have a tattoo, don't you?
That I do have a tattoo, but it's not oxytocin.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. It's, you know what it is?
It's a love thing, right?
Well, it's a chemical structure.
Yeah, chocolate.
And it's called, phenethylamine or phenylethylamine. You could call it either way. And that is a compound found in chocolate. So like when you eat chocolate, it kind of gives you the same feeling like as you were falling in love.
Mhm.
So that's why I have that tattoo. Yeah, that was kind of a story when I was in pharmacy school. And like, one of our friends would go out on a date with somebody and then we would see our friend the next day and we would ask our friend, so was it phenylethylamine?
Oh,
So
funny.
what, did you fall in love or was it, just, so that we would say, yeah, it was phenylethylamine or, it was just like a nerdy pharmacy students talking.
Jeez.
But anyway, so I wanted to explain what oxytocin was because my friend was like, yeah, you just kind of said oxytocin, but I didn't even know what oxytocin was. So oxytocin is a hormone in our bodies. We have it. A lot of animals have it. And like when a female woman gives birth to her child, the oxytocin is like really comes out and it helps her bond with her child. So animals have that too. Yeah, animals have that too. And there's study that the Swedish university said that certain breeds have more of those oxytocin receptors. So those dogs are able to bond faster and become closer to the people they live with than other dogs. Like a golden retriever, or like our little Shih Tzu Wanda here has more receptors than maybe a dog that's bred for working or herding or something like that, right? So yeah, and dogs have evolved over years and thousands of years from the wolf to develop more oxytocin in their bodies, so that they could bond with us and become our companions. Yeah. That's right. I know. 4th of July, please, everybody get tags on your dogs. Keep your dogs inside. The most dogs get lost during the 4th of July. Number one. I'm calling our vet. I'm going to find a new vet because I'm not really happy with the vet I have right now. And bring Wanda in. She's been coughing and coughing and coughing, and they think that she has a collapsed trachea, and apparently this is really common in the small dog breeds, and especially dogs that have like the smushed in noses. And what a collapsed trachea does is it causes her to like look. It sounds like she's gasping a little bit, and then she's like clearing her throat and like choking, and she even kind of makes like a honking sound like a goose. And I feel like it's annoying to us, right? I mean, it drives us crazy, but it's horrible for her because I could tell like she's like looking at me as she's coughing, and she's like, what's going on? And then sometimes if she has a bad, like I'll call it an attack, she just seems scared.
Yeah, I noticed that she runs to her bed and looks towards the wall, which is really weird.
I don't know what's going on. So I mean, she is getting older, and it's I see like little subtle changes in her. So we have a call in. First, I called my friend who recommended this veterinarian, which I'm really happy. And it's a group, so I don't know if she uses a particular vet in this group or if all of them she's satisfied with. So I'm just waiting for her to call me back, and then I'll bring Wanda in to get just a second opinion to see if there's anything else we can do for her. So
yeah, prayers up.
I know, really.
Hey, we'll see everybody tomorrow at protests, and I know there's local ones, so check that out too. I know there's one in Highland. There's two of them in Highland Village also.
Get your thinking cap on, Robert. I need some ideas for our protest sign.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe I was
maybe a picture of his face with a big clown nose and a king hat on it or something.
Of me? No, I'm just kidding. Of Trump. Hey, we're still here. We are the 7th generation. See you tomorrow. Have a great weekend. We'll see you at the protest.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis Air.